You ever move somewhere thinking it's going to be your sanctuary, only to find out it's a battlefield? That's what happened to me when I bought a little place on Maplewood Lane, a quiet cul-de-sac in a sleepy suburb called Crestview Pines. I'm Jack Turner, a retired firefighter, 28 years on the job, running into flames while everyone else ran out and he shot, back creaking, heart heavy from too many calls that didn't end well. I picked that house for one reason: a giant sycamore tree in the front yard, its branches spreading wide like it was holding the whole place together, promising me shade, peace, maybe a shot at something normal after all the chaos. But then I met Linda Harper, the HOA president, and let me tell you, that woman wasn't about peace, she was about power. It started small like it always does. 2 weeks after I moved in, I found a crisp, typed-up notice taped to my door. Non-compliant garden structures. My crime? A couple of zucchini plants climbing a trellis by the fence. I laughed after dodging collapsing roofs and pulling kids out of smoke-filled rooms. Getting scolded for vegetables felt like a bad joke. I trimmed them back, not because I cared about the HOA's rule book, but because I figured I'd play nice, keep the peace. Big mistake. Linda didn't want peace. She wanted control. She'd stroll by my place twice a day with her little terrier, Biscuit, her phone angled just so, snapping pictures of my Yardme mailbox with a speck of rust, my hose coiled wrong, my shed painted a shade of green she deemed unacceptable. Each time, another citation showed up, each one sharper, like she was carving away at me. I ignored it first. I'd seen worse than a nosy neighbor with a clipboard try staring down a warehouse fire at 3 a.m. But then she set her sights on my sycamore. One muggy afternoon, I was out pulling weeds when I saw her standing at the edge of my lawn with 2 HOA lackeys, Tom, a guy who treated the bylaws like scripture, and Ellen, who nodded at Linda's every word like her head was on a spring. Linda pointed at the tree, her voice sharp as a knife. "It's a hazard, Jack. Those branches hang too close to the sidewalk, and it's over the property line by 2 feet. I wiped sweat off my brow and stood up slow, my bad knee groaning. "It's healthy," I said. "Got an arborist report to prove it. That tree's been here longer than your HOA. Her eyes narrowed, lips curling into a smile that didn't reach them. "We'll see," she said, and I felt it in my gut, that old firefighter's instinct like the air shifting right before a blaze explodes. Things got ugly fast. A neon yellow flyer showed up on my door. Mandatory HOA meeting scrawled in bold, like I'd been summoned to court. I went, mostly out of curiosity, thinking I could reason with them. Linda's house was like a magazine spread, perfect lawn, perfect shutters, perfect little flags lining the walk. Inside, 5 board members sat around her dining table, stiff as mannequins. Linda kicked things off with a slideshow me zucchini, my firewood stack, my offensive mailbox, and of course my sycamore, blown up on her TV screen like it was public enemy number 1. "Crestview Pines values uniformity," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Your tree compromises our aesthetic standards." I leaned back, arms crossed. "It's on my land, Linda. I mow that strip, I pay the drainage fees. You got no claim." She didn't blink. "It's a safety issue. A branch dented Ellen's car last storm. Ellen wouldn't meet my eyes. I knew that dent told. Rusted, not from my tree." I stood up, calm but firm. "You want to keep snapping pictures of my yard, get a warrant." Then I walked out. The fines started rolling in $200 for landscape obstruction, $150 for non-compliance, all tied to the tree. I fought back, got city records proving the sycamore was mine, hired an arborist who said it'd stand another 30 years. But Linda didn't care about facts. She cared about winning. Then came the contractors' unmarked trucks, guys with chainsaws creeping around my yard. One morning, I caught a guy measuring the tree's base. Just assessing. He mumbled before bolting when I asked for ID. I started documenting everything: dash cam, trail cams, a logbook of every move Linda made. I'd learned on the job. When someone's coming for you, evidence is your lifeline. Then, one spring day, I came home from the hardware store and stopped dead. My sycamore was gone sawed clean at the base. Its massive trunk sprawled across Maplewood Lane, blocking the only way in or out of the cul-de-sac. Bark and sawdust littered my yard like a crime scene. I stood there, heart pounding, staring at the jagged stump where my tree used to be. Across the street, Linda sipped a coffee, smirking. "You did this," I said, voice low, shaking. She shrugged. "The HOA deemed it unsafe. You were warned, Jack. Had to come down." I stepped closer, saw the clean chainsaw cuts, the way the limbs were sliced to make it fall across the road. "You didn't just cut it, you blocked the street on purpose." She sipped again, eyes cold. "An unfortunate side effect. Maybe plant something smaller next time, like a dogwood." I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I pulled out my phone, started recording every cut, every branch, her standing there like she'd won. I called the cops, the city, my old buddy Mike, the county fire marshal. This wasn't just about a tree anymore. This was war. The fallout was immediate. That tree blocked everything: mail trucks, deliveries, even ambulances. Old Mr. and Mrs. Larson couldn't get their home health aid in. Kids couldn't get to school without hiking half a mile. Linda played innocent, sent out an HOA newsletter calling it a temporary inconvenience, but the neighbors weren't buying it. They'd seen my footage, heard about her fake emergency removal form signed by some shady arborist who turned out to be her brother-in-law. I filed a lawsuit: property destruction, trespassing, endangering public safety. Mike's fire marshal report sealed it. That tree was a critical hazard now, blocking emergency access. Linda's name was all over it. Then the storm came. It was a Tuesday, sky heavy with thunderheads, the kind that make your bones ache. I stood on my porch, watching lightning crack the horizon. The fallen sycamore still sprawled across the road. Linda was out walking Biscuit, her neon raincoat glowing against the dark. "Might want to clear that mess before the wind picks up," I called. She shot me a look like I'd spit in her coffee. "Not my problem anymore," she snapped. "County's handling it." I shook my head. "County says it's still on you, Linda. They're investigating fire department, too." Her face tightened, but she turned away, tugging Biscuit down the sidewalk. That night, the storm hit like a freight train, wind howling, rain hammering. Around midnight, I heard sirens, the kind that cut through your sleep like a blade. I threw on my boots, grabbed a flashlight, and ran out into the downpour. The sycamore still blocked the road, and at the base of the hill, 2 fire trucks were stuck, one jackknifed on a lawn, lights flashing uselessly. I shouted to a firefighter, "Where's the fire?" He pointed up the hill. 114 Maplewood. Big house. Flames through the roof. Can't get through. My stomach dropped. That was Linda's place. I ran up, slipping in the mud, smoke thick in the air. Her mansion was a torch, flames roaring, windows exploding. Linda stood in her yard, soaked, screaming, "Biscuits inside. Do something." But the trucks couldn't move. The road was blocked her doing. Neighbors gathered, horrified, helpless. I locked eyes with her through the rain and firelight. "You did this," she shrieked, pointing at me. I didn't flinch. "No, Linda, you did." The fire burned for 40 minutes before they got a truck through a back alley, tearing through fences to reach her house. Too late. The place was gutted. Biscuit, thank God, was found shivering under the deck, saved by a rookie firefighter. Linda stood there, wrapped in a blanket, mascara running, staring at the ashes of her kingdom. I didn't feel triumph, just a heavy, inevitable weight. She'd cut down my tree to prove a point, blocked the road to punish me, and now her world was ash. Mike handed me a soggy report the next morning. "She's lucky no one died," he said. "This is on her." The story blew up. News vans swarmed Maplewood Lane by dawn. HOA blockade delays firefighters, the headline screamed. Clips of the stuck trucks, Linda yelling at the crew, it went viral. Neighbors started talking, spilling years of grievances. Fines for kids' chalk drawings, banned holiday lights, threats over unapproved flower beds. Linda wasn't just a bully, she was running a racket. I dug deeper with a lawyer friend, found $90,000 in shady HOA payments to fake vendors, some tied to Linda's cousins. The DA got involved in embezzlement, fraud, obstruction charges. Linda's mugshot hit the news, her smug smile gone. I ran for HOA president, not out of spite, but because I'd spent my life running toward danger to protect people. This was just a different kind of fire. We rewrote the rules, public votes, no anonymous complaints, real audits. We built a community garden where my sycamore stood, with a plaque, for the tree that fell and the truth that rose. A new sapling went in, a live oak, small but stubborn. I stepped down as president after a year, passing the torch to folks who cared about fairness, not power. But here's the thing, Linda wasn't the only villain. She thrived because people stayed quiet, afraid to challenge her clipboard empire. I learned that silence can be as dangerous as a spark in dry grass. So what do you think? Was Linda just a power-hungry tyrant? Or was she a product of a system that lets people like her run wild? Have you ever faced an HOA bully? Or someone who twisted rules to control others? Drop a comment. Share your story. I want to hear it. Because one voice, one stand can stop a fire before it spreads.